Bro, this is why I haven't even like started a podcast or anything like that. This is why I don't like stream games and shit because it's all just like
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But, like, if you can get an end product, it's all worth it.
gosh, sorry, man. No, but I know what I mean. It's worth it in the end.
Hopefully, man. That's all you can work for. What's up, y'all? This is my TV. Do you want to introduce yourself, man? Or you want me to introduce you?
Yeah, no, I'm Abiola, comic, like, Greek, just, I guess based in the city, Brooklyn, Queens, that type of shit. And yeah, just happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Welcome, my nigga. Goddamn, can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Alright, cool. Yeah. Like, last time we met, or last time we saw each other, we talked about, like, fighting games and shit and Game of Thrones, and then at that moment I was like, shit, we're the same demographic of niggas.
Yep.
But,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, dog, this is mad retarded, but, like, I thought of, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I thought of 10 like potential podcast names if we ever started a podcast together.
Word.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, man. First one is anime niggas. Autism. Otakards. Afro anime bros. Eye contact not necessary.
I like that.
Thank you. Anime bros.
Mm-hmm.
The Good at Smash podcast.
That's fire.
Alright, cool. Tsunami Costas.
Not bad.
White girlfriends.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
The reason I like eye contact not necessary and Smash the most is because like I like anime, but like it's just a couple that I really, really fucked with.
I feel that. No.
So like Naruto, I'm like obsessed with. I like this one called Katekyo Hitman Reborn back in the day.
Is that the one with like the 2-foot assassin and shit?
No, it's about like Japanese mafia guys basically.
Oh, word. That's
Yeah,
shit.
and like so the ninth leader of the gang is like they're Italian, but his pupil, the guy he wants to be the 10th one is a Japanese dude. So he sends this dude named Reborn to like train him and shit. And he's like, Tsuna, the name of the main character, he's like a nerd, like not good at school, not good at sports either, just like kind of a loser. And like he gets trained to become like this fucking killer. He has these gloves that he uses that like go on fire, and he can like use them to fly around and like fuck people up and shit. It's really good. First anime I watched.
Are you really big on like shonen and shit?
Yeah, the animes that I do watch are shonen for sure.
I fuck with it. I fuck with shonen a lot. But like, everybody, what do you like, Dragon Ball Z kid and shit?
Yeah.
Were you Piccolo? Like, did you feel like Piccolo?
Not really. I Team Gohan, Future Trunks, and Gotenks. That would be my 3 that I identified with the most for sure.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of like at the edge of that generation. Like, I feel like we grew up more with Naruto than anything.
The only reason I'm into Dragon Ball Z is because I have 2 older brothers, one who's like 5 years older than me, another one who's 10, and so they really got me into Dragon Ball Z.
No, that's the same way I learned about fucking anime. Like, my brothers are tall though, so like they could like anime and still get bitches.
Right.
You know?
That's
Like, you can get away with more shit when you're 6'2".
correct.
It's like being blonde for women. You know?
Yeah, it is. But at least we're 5'10", so it's not like we're like brunettes. We're more like gingers, in the middle, right?
Nah, I think redheads are adorable, dog.
Yeah, I love redheads, honestly. I mean, my favorite Probably because I grew up Catholic. This might have something to do with it, but I was just like one of my favorite demographics of chick growing up was Irish girls.
Oh, respect.
Yeah, oh yeah, and loads of them were redheads, obviously. So yeah,
Ice Spice is my favorite. I've read it.
yeah, she's okay. I mean, not to be she's hot, obviously. Like I say okay, like if she asked me to fuck her, I'd say no.
All right, I'll give you some dick.
Right? Yeah, right. I don't know. I like, I like pale redheads that like remind me of my past, to be honest. Like, she's a little old now, but like Amy Adams.
Who's she?
She's an actress. What's she been in? She's been in mad shit. I can't think of anything right now, of course, but I think there was a movie called American like Hustle or something with Christian Bale. She was in that. She's been in a bunch of shit, but she's pretty hot.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah, no, I feel like that shows your age. Like who you finding hot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like Ariana Grande is still like who is like the last person I can find sexy, you know? 'Cause I was still in high school when she popped.
Sure.
But like anybody else, I'm just like, nah, that's not right. You can't do that.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like I have no like goddamn people be like saying all these names now on Instagram and shit, and I'm like, God damn, this is what it feels like to get old. It just becomes like you just lose the grip of it.
Mm-hmm. And it just happens more and more as you age. I always think about how, like, dude, one day hopefully, I'm gonna be like 87, and then like playing Smash is gonna be the same as like, I don't know, some like old bullshit now. You know what I mean?
They replace fucking like parts or whatever.
Yeah, which is like insane to think about. Like, it just keeps going forward.
Have you ever done one of those like old folks fucking zombie shows where like people go to nursing homes and shit?
No, I haven't, but I would love to. I'd be down with that. Cause my grandfather was a veteran. He fought in the Korean War, so he like lived in a veterans old people home. So I used to go there a lot, and like I used to really respect the people who would like go there and like play music and shit and like do stuff like that. So literally, that would be great if I could do something like that.
What would you talk about? How would you resonate with them?
Yo, I might just like do my normal shit and see what happens, to be honest with you. And just see, and then like, okay, so what I do is I'd like write back up old people shit, and then like I do my normal shit. And if they were just like, damn, this is horrible, I'd be like, okay, back up shit.
No, I would be like, this is my approach. I'm like, I would work as an EMT, so I'm in nursing homes all day, and I'd be like, I see y'all always call me cute when I'm working here, and I'm just like, when you were 20, that shit was a crime. You just a bunch of criminals in here.
Yeah, they'd love that, I'm sure. Yo, that is something I'd do. I would definitely go into racial stuff a lot, just because it's like right there. I'd be like, yo, I'm black, like I'm this African person, and you were literally alive when like this would not be tolerated. And so I'd do like 5 minutes on that, probably.
He probably loves Richard Pryor though.
Probably, yeah. And that's another thing, bro. Like, old people are like younger now. Like a 70-year-old now was born in like the 50s. So it's like, okay, like they were like growing up towards like the end of like segregation, especially if they're like from the north. Whereas when I was like 10, you know, a 70-year-old is like born in like the 1930s and shit, and it's just a completely different vibe.
Like,
So,
my grandfather fought in Vietnam, and then like when I was growing up, all the media produced was like all about World War II, you know? Like, it just, man. We can go in forever about the ebbs and flow of time, you know?
oh yeah, dude. Like, I'm saying 70-year-old thinking about like old ass people. Meanwhile, my dad is 72. It's just like, yeah, because like I told you, my eldest brother is 10 years older than me. So, and my dad's from Nigeria. So like, he got his life established here a little late. So he didn't have kids until his 30s and shit. So, which is, you know, normal anyway. But
Did he marry an American woman?
yep.
Oh, that's why your grandfather fought. You said he fought in Korea?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And my mom is from Long Island, just like me, from Smithtown.
Does Long Island suck as much as it's like been advertised to?
Nah, I mean, I fucking love Long Island, bro. That shit's my home, dude. And like people hate on it so hard, and it's like when we were at the whiskey cellar the other day, someone said you don't come off as a Long Islander, and I was insulted, and it took me like a minute to realize he was complimenting me. You know what I mean? But no, I love Long Island people. I mean, like some of the stereotypes are correct, like they are very like abrasive and shit, but like I'm just so used to that, and I'm kind of like that because I'm from there,
I feel it.
you know, so I love it.
What do you consider like? Are you like Shaolin or like fucking Pete Davidson or like what is your Long Island to you?
Well, I mean, the people that I relate to the most are like so it wouldn't be not because they're fighters, but it just happens to be fighters that like, you know, because they're really close to where I'm from. So like Chris Weidman is from like the town right next to mine, so like that's my vibe. Aljamain Sterling is from another town, like
Oh yeah.
yeah. So like I remember when Chris won the belt, I was like 11, and like everyone was like bugging out, and I was like, oh my god, this guy beat Anderson Silva, and he's from like the town where I go to school, you know. So yeah, that's my tribe of Long Island for sure.
It sounded like an East Coast Stockton.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put it. A little less rugged from what I hear about Stockton, but like
It's where you are.
sure,
Yeah.
but like yeah, very similar vibes, I'd say.
All right, man. Would you like some popcorn?
Sure. I'll take some. Would you like another cookie?
I'm loving the cookie, man.
You fuck with them?
Fuck with them heavy, man. Thank you, bro. Well, thank you for bringing it, dude.
Of course, dude. I bake all the time, so whenever someone like invites me to something or anything like that, I try to bring them a gift of like some shit.
Nah, I respect it, man. It's part of fucking ancient tradition, you know? Like, fucking, when humans fucking... I've been writing this comic book about, like, fucking, like, the late Paleolith, like, when people are starting to, like, settle down and shit, and, like, early civilizations.
Like new Stone Age type shit.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, just... shit. I smoke way too much weed, dog. Shit, nah. What were we talking about? Legitimately.
Fuck.
Sorry.
No, oh yeah, no, dude, it's totally fine. But this is what like I want to smoke before shit. Like for some reason, like I almost like want to sabotage, and then I just happen not to. Like, dude, if I smoked, I'd literally just like you'd be saying shit, and I'd be like, yeah, bro, that's cool, and you'd be like, all right, get the fuck out of my house. But no, we were talking about. I said like I like to bring shit places, and you were like, yeah, like the new Stone Age. You've been
Oh
writing.
yeah, thank you so much. No, yeah, that's embarrassing as fuck. Golly, I'm happy I only get like 10 viewers like average. Like that would be embarrassing if people saw that.
You're chilling,
Like
bro.
I'm trying to make it in entertainment, then I'm like, if I ever make it, I'll be canceled immediately. I say horrible shit all the time. Oh man. Yeah, but like in like early bands of humans, gift giving is like a huge part of ceremonies and shit. It's also like what inspired the shit like guest rights and Game of Thrones and shit.
Right? Yeah. That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, nah, man. If you live in like a fucked up place, you need to be able to like trust your neighbors or just trust people on the road.
Yeah. According to Guess Right, you are now legally not allowed to kill me.
Yeah, no, 100%. Dude, if you were born in the Game of Thrones universe, where would you want to be?
What a great question.
Yeah.
All right. I think I used to think about this all the time. So like, here's the thing, right? Like every single place is so fucked up. Like you would think the North would be cool, but it's like they did a good job of not showing like how ass that life is, honestly, in the North. Because it's like you have good family, you have camaraderie, you have like better people than like in the South. But it's like, yo, the winters are like so ass. Like you like as I'm sure you know, like it's so bad that like when it's at its worst, like they'll send the older people out to just die because it's like, yo, we don't. They'll also send like the younger sons if it gets really bad, which I couldn't help thinking about because I'm the youngest. So I'd be like, fuck. They'd be like, all right, Abiola, you gotta freeze to death so that
No, that's like the fucking. That's gonna be a point in fucking House of the Dragon, spoiler alert. But like fucking, how like isn't I think it's Brandon Spot Dark fucking brings down or Kragan.
Cregan, yep.
Yeah, he fucking brings down like the old wolves or whatever.
The winter wolves.
Yeah, just old men who are destined to die. Like that's such a hard upbringing, you know.
Yeah.
Makes you like, goddamn, how do niggas survive in like north of the wall? Like, what do they do? Are they like, how would... Yeah. Nah.
Yeah. I mean, those guys, I feel like the lack of society there makes it a little easier. Like they could just like do whatever they gotta do. They wear their and that's another thing that the show didn't really do so well. Like there are so many diverse cultures north of the wall that like different people do different things. So you have like the Thens who are like pretty advanced. They have like bronze and shit, and they have like probably like the best clothing in terms of like protecting themselves from the elements. And then you got the Ice River clans, which are like straight up cannibals.
They made them bang, the Ice River clans.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Yeah. They made the Thens like the Ice River clans, exactly. But yeah, I guess different people survive differently. But yeah, you bring up a good point. But to talk about the other kingdoms and how living there would be, right? So the Westerlands would be cool, I guess, but then you'd have to deal with the Ironborn. Honestly, like if I had to choose, I'd either be an Iron Man or Dornish.
Really? I mean, Iron Man have most freedom, but like they don't. Their lifestyle's all dependent on fucking the other people, and like in the current timeline or like in all the current like history, like because the seven kingdoms are unified, the Iron Men are fucking or the other six kingdoms are unified. They're small. They can't do anything. All they can really do is raid like fucking north of the wall or fucking like the Summer Islands.
Right. So what I would do, like in my head when I think about being an Ironborn, like I feel like if I could just be like a farmer or like a textile trader or whatever the fuck and just chill and not be a dick, but like be an Ironborn, like that would be a pretty cool life.
Like our shipwright, like
some shit like
numbers, so you build like the baddest fucking boat.
Yes, exactly, something like that. That would be cool. I wouldn't want to just be like, okay, let's pillage people and take back thralls and be assholes. But like. And then Dorne would be cool, especially like back in the day, before I say back in the day, like before the present story, like Dorne was really cool when it was on its own, and it had the influence of like the Rhoynar a little stronger and shit, you know. But the Vale would be cool because the Vale is just such a beautiful place with But like the thing is, those mountain clansmen, bro. Like they really do fuck shit up.
Yeah, it's wild that they have fucking wildlings in the middle of the fucking like seven kingdoms. Like, you would think that like they would have destroyed them by this point. Like, how is it so decentralized where they still exist? They still exist
because they live in the mountains of the moon, and it would just be like so. I would guess it would be so much work to like send people up there to like fuck them up. And those guys are like legit threats to the point where like when the Lords of Arryn would like travel to like west to like the actual outside of the Vale, like they'd have to travel like in force with like mad soldiers just to not get fucked up, and they'd have their daughters like kidnapped and turned into like just
salt lakes and shit, right?
Exactly, you know, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, I wouldn't want to live in the Vale for that reason. So I'd probably go with Dorne if I had to choose. Are you familiar with the Free Cities a lot?
Pentos?
Pentos, Volantis, like those places.
Yeah, like I think that's the reason why we're not getting fucking Winds of Winter, because Fucking J.R. Martin's trying to write the fucking Atlantis shit.
Maybe. I mean, I don't. He has no excuses at this point, bro. Because I remember in like 2019, he was like, and in 2019, it had been 8 years since Dance had come out, even at that point. And I remember he was just like, all right, guys, like, if I don't have like definitive information about the book coming out by July 2020, you can literally like pull up to my cabin in New Zealand and like tie me up and shit. And it's been like 5 years since he said that. So it's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? You know?
It's down to the point where like all the fucking videos on YouTube are about like, oh, when the winter about to drop is like all like 5-6 years old.
Exactly.
Now.
And it's just like, damn, bro. Like, whenever it comes out, I'm gonna read it. But dude, by this time, I expected us to have like some info about A Dream of Spring.
Yeah.
You know?
No, 100%. Like, but I'm like, his son's gonna write that or some shit? Like, I don't know. That's what fucking fantasy writers do, right? When they fucking die.
I don't think he has kids.
Oh, word?
Yeah, so he better hurry the fuck up.
That's tragic.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, if I could, I'd live in maybe one of the free cities.
What's up with the free cities?
So they're very so the way the reason the free cities are called the free cities, first of all, is because like they were colonies of old Valyria that ruled themselves. So like they didn't, so like if you take a city in old Valyria that's a colony, like this city called Illyria, it has a magistrate that reports to the freehold, like old Valyria, right? Whereas the free cities are like self-governed, and because they're self-governed, they're all like so diverse, right? So you have Bravos, where it's like slavery is like unthinkable because it was kind of made by slaves, and then you have like Volantis, where like everyone's a slave and like each slave has a tattoo about their station, so they never forget. Like people just have like fly tattoos, and those people are like the slaves that like pick up shit from the elephants and stuff like that. And then you have like Norvos, for example, which has its like own special religion where it's like this bell rings every day at like 3 separate times, and each bell sounds different and means a different thing. Like so like I really fuck with the free city. And then you have like Kohor, which is known, it's like the easternmost free city, and it's like the gateway between Western Essos and Eastern Essos, and so there's like a lot of culture there. And that is the only place in the world that can like rework Valyrian steel. So like no one knows how to forge it anymore, but like the secrets of reworking it is secret to Kohor, and that's why Tobo Mat, the guy who
We made ice.
melted it down.
Oathbringer and shit.
Exactly, he's from Kohor. So yeah, that's just dope. That's probably my favorite free city. But I love the free cities. Obviously, I'm into the entire fucking story a lot.
The world is beautiful and dope, but
Very.
nigga.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like at this point, I feel like, because I can't imagine like putting myself in his shoes, being an author and being like, all right, I have this epic like story, they made it into a show, they ruined it, and like I'm not going to have put out the new one yet.
No, but they ruined it when he stopped writing the books. Like it got bad when they didn't have a blueprint.
Right, but like there were a lot of things about like season 1, for example, that like they did themselves that had like nothing to do with George. And I feel like a lot of things in like remember that conversation between Cersei and Robert where they're just like chilling, drinking and talking and like,
oh yeah, when
like,
they're nice and shit.
Yeah, like that wasn't in the books, you know. So like I don't know why that, like I used to like really care about this back in the day. Like I feel like Dave and Dan ruined that shit on purpose, like because it's like, because you have to understand the books on a deep level to do it as badly as they did, because it's not like people just doing the wrong thing, it's people like knowing what the right thing is and doing the exact opposite, you know what I mean? So like yeah, that shit but dude, I will say like season 8, especially after the long night, had some like funny ass moments just because of how horrible it was. Like I remember when the Mountain fought. Okay, so when the Mountain killed Qyburn, like he slammed his head into the rock and just flung him. Like I had to pause it for like 5 minutes and just howl because that shit was ridiculous.
It's Frankenstein, the monster killing Frankenstein shit.
Yeah, but with like no logic to it. Like that shit was. I loved that. I loved the fight between the Mountain and the Hound Clegane Bowl, where like everyone was looking forward to it for like years, and it was literally just the Mountain like flinging the Hound down the stairs like a bunch of times, and I was like, damn, y'all are crazy for this. You know,
the show totally disrespected Dorne. You know, like, everybody from there is cool, but the whole political system's horrible, where they can't unify and have any grand plot. Fucking. Also, Cersei's not smart. She's not. George has a bad habit of making women dumb. Like, fucking Catelyn Stark is the reason fucking this shit entirely happened. Not really. Cersei's the reason this happens. And Jaime.
well, no, I would blame Cat more. Honestly, I would blame Cat more than Cersei.
Yeah, no, my whole thing is telling Varys and Littlefinger as soon as you get to fucking King's Landing. Like, your entire plot, dog. And fucking also Sansa snitching on the family. But like
She's 11 at least. Like she has that excuse.
no, I also like what Rob says there, where he's all like, "Yeah, her wolf died," and it's like, "Yeah, they're all wards. Of course, when their wolf dies, her wolf blood's gone."
See, and that's the thing. I don't know, because there are a lot of theories, bro. I don't know if her wolf blood is gone. It's just she has the weakest connection to it for the time being. But there's also theories that because her mother's Kat's mother was a Went. That's the name of their house, Whent. Not the Tullys, like yeah. And then the Wents are descendants of a house called House Lothston, and one of the rulers of House Lothston was a woman. I forget her name, but she lived during like the time of the Blackfire rebellions. And like there are reasons to believe that she could telepathically do war shit with bats. And so Sansa has that shit coming from both sides. They all have that shit on both sides of their family, low-key.
It'd be wild if she can like work into a bird.
Yeah, some shit like that. But I don't think I think she still has potential for like warging and like all that shit. Question, did you check out that series I sent you? Have you had time yet?
No.
Okay, word, because that shit goes deep into the genetics of like warging, and also like the Targaryens being able, specifically the Targaryens being able to like control their dragons and shit. And I think it's all connected. Like the same power that allows Daenerys to ride Drogon and hatch the eggs is the same thing that like allows Jon to communicate with like ghosts, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really cool. I won't go too deep into it, but it's like the idea is that it's like a sex-linked trait where like, so if you're like XX and you have both of the whatever the fuck on both sides of your family, like you'd have to be a woman to do that, obviously, but that means you can hatch dragons. And then if you have one X, that means you can ride them. And so the idea is that the whole reason for all the conflicts trying to depose the Targaryens, except maybe Robert's Rebellion, was because Old Town and the Maesters and the High Towers and what's it called? The Faith didn't want dragons to exist anymore. And so the dance was essentially just like an attempted Old Town coup. Because if you look at the genetics...
Because I was saying that shit is the House Hightown.
Right.
So she would be the connection to Old Town.
And but it wouldn't be her, it would be more like her dad Otto, like facilitating it, and the Maesters and the Septons. But what was I saying? That's why they wanted Rhaenyra gone, because like Rhaenyra was like really good at like hatching dragons and shit. And that's why like all of her kids, Jace, Luke, Joffrey, Aegon and Viserys, like they could all ride dragons and shit.
Also, they're all nobles, so like that's why dragons wouldn't want to ride with them. You know, it's like fucking that one of her kids fucking is boys with the king of the north. He would like respect that nigga. They had a fucking marriage pact and shit.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I would wonder if I would question whether the dragons like respect the nobility of it, or if they're just like if they just like respect the strength of the individual person. Because spoilers for House of the Dragon, but there are going to be some like non-nobles who are able to like start riding dragons and shit.
But they're like descended from bastards and shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They are dragon seeds. That's true for the most part. But there might be someone who can. And the theory is that this will happen in Winds of Winter as well. There's someone in the books for sure in House of the Dragon. I don't know if they're gonna do this in the show, who like literally just like got a dragon by like feeding it like meat, and then like
Stealer and Nettle.
yes, sir. Yes, nice. So. I mean, that's possible, but
I'm gonna go wash my hands real quick.
please go for it.
God damn, man.
Struggles of a podcast.
I need some fucking nerdy kid to fucking work the boards for me, man. This shit.
Yeah.
Ah, gosh, golly, I need a game cloud.
Yeah, I'm so illiterate with all this shit, as I told you earlier. Like,
Dude. I really wish I would have studied that in school, you know? Computers really are taking over the world.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a blue-collar ass nigga, and, like, taking the train to New York, I just feel like I see, like, older versions of myself all the time on the train, you know? Like, I just see tired, gone men going home, and I'm just like, God damn, is that gonna be me?
well, no, because you're gonna be a fucking legit stand-up comic, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? You have to have that hope. Yeah, but it's just, like, I'm literally sitting in front of them in the same uniform, and I'm just like, gosh, fuck.
Yeah, no, I've been there, dude. I've had many a blue-collar job since dropping out of college, so
I feel it. Yeah, nah. Gosh, golly, man. I'm trying to write right now, but writing's hard.
oh yeah, I know. Because it's like you imagine a thought, an idea, but it's the idea of transitioning that thought into paper is just like and you gotta like sit down and like just do that, and like that's annoying.
Nah, like, yeah, exactly, man. And then, like, I have this problem where, like, I establish a background, then I'm like, okay, what happened here? So I write a background for that. Then I'm like, what happened before that? And then you just start, the world just gradually gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And, like, I get, man. Writing's hard. I wish I fucking didn't have work a full-time job so I can just actually commit time to it. But like, I have so little leisure time that I'm like, it's hard to dedicate like my brain to it because it just requires too much activity for a tired, fatigued brain.
Yeah, yeah. I guess and dude, I haven't had a job in a minute, so I have a lot of free time personally. But yeah, I definitely know what you mean. I don't know. I feel like if you just set a little bit of time a week, no matter how little, like what you were, 40 hours more.
Yeah, 40 to 60.
Like fuck. Okay. Word.
Yeah.
So if you just take like even 15 minutes to just like, all right, 15 minutes a week, I'm gonna like do some stuff related to the writing. But what are you writing exactly besides the comic book?
No, literally just the comic book. It's just like, it started out as like, I wanted to do a story of a dude crossing a desert, like an exile. And then I'm like, what is this desert? So I think of like how this desert could form. And I feel like, all right, there's this plateau valley there. Inside this plateau valley, there's just fucking bunch of these city-states, you know, kind of like based on like West African and like Greek fucking like early settlements, you know. And so like each city-state has their pantheon of gods and shit.
Very
and like
cool.
how would they form? Because there's water basins there, so that's where they all form. Every god is based on a local water reserve. And it's just like I'm building all this fake knowledge, and I'm just like, God damn, man, I think of J.R.R. Martin, he did it right, man.
Yeah.
Like,
You want to hear something interesting about the way he built that story, bro?
yeah.
So you know the chapter where like they find the direwolf pups and stuff? That is like the first thought he had in his head is that chapter, and the entire world was built around just that chapter.
Nah, that fucking it's a beautiful fucking element of foreshadowing, you know? It's a fucking direwolf, the House Sigil of House Stark getting fucking killed by a disemboweled fucking Baratheon steer.
Yep.
The fucking with its horns and its fucking head, and then the number of cubs equal to the number of Starks there, with his bastard being the white wolf. Like, that's genius.
But it's crazy because dude, it's so crazy because when he had those thoughts in his head, he had no concept of like the South, no concept of anything like that. He was just like, okay, like these people, like he like channeled that shit a little bit, I guess, and he was just like, wow, like, and he just made it all off of that. So yeah, he's really insane with his world building.
I'm in the early Theon chapters, right before he's about to get fucked up by Reek, and like my biggest thing is just like this nigga really lost his fucking Kraken, dog. Like, he thought he was a fucking Greenland Nord. Like, he got it fucked up, you know? Like, why would a Frey want to... I'm not Frey. Why would a fucking...
Bolton?
No, Greyjoy.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, why would a Greyjoy want to fucking own Winterfell? It's so far from the fucking ocean. There's nothing fucking for them there. Just take the women, fucking... Take the loot and bounce.
Right, yeah, but... Because he wasn't Ironborn anymore, you're exactly right. He lost his Kraken.
Yeah.
But he didn't, he was so insecure when he came back to Pike that, like, and I didn't mean to cut you off, I hope I didn't.
You didn't.
But, cool. He was just so, like, because he he just forgot what Pike was, and because he forgot that that's what Pike was, he didn't understand that he wasn't that anymore. So he comes back to Pike with all his drip that he bought with money, and he's like, everyone's paid the gold price, not the iron price, and everyone's like, we all think you're a loser, bro. Like,
yeah.
Like, what are you? And then he's like so in denial about that and so hurt by that like he's just screwing himself over that entire second book. And he's just like, oh, I'm going to take Winterfell so I can be the Prince of Winterfell, as if this is going to end well at all for me, no matter what happens, right?
Dude, no, and Asha really is a great sister, you know? Like, if you lay it down on paper, like, she did the perfect routine to find out the character of a man.
Oh, yeah.
She's a cute, fucking pregnant shipwright wife. The shipwright is who makes the fucking Grey King's ships. That is who supplies their armor. You don't fuck his wife.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of those, like, golden rules when you're fucking, like, iron, like, that type of culture. So he's like, she posits as that, somebody pregnant, already established. You can't even get her a son, so this book is only for your fucking greed.
Right.
And then, so with that, she learned the character of her little brother. How much does he know about the Iron Price? At that point, she was like, oh, my uncle only cares about the gods. All I have to do is say the prayers, and he'll appease his gods. And she's like, oh, you're his gods? My gods. You know, like, also, like, he goes to the fucking inn where he lost his virginity, and to find the kids who are fucking Rickard and Bran and shit. And it's like, the whole thing is like, those kids would be the same age as like when he lost his virginity.
Right.
So like, he probably committed kinslime. He probably killed his own sons.
Well, the theory is that the youngest one specifically might be his. And yeah, it's crazy. But you bring up a good point. Like, she did do a really good job. Because when I read those chapters where he goes back to Pike, I feel so bad for him, because it's just like, wow, she's just treating him like shit. And Balon, his father, is like my least favorite character in the whole series. But like, no, she was just like, okay, like if he hadn't been whack, she probably would have been cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, like, she made a good point. Like, why don't you go see your mom? Like, his mom would care about you. Like, you've been away for fucking 10 years now or whatever. Like, why didn't you go see your mom when you were there?
Yeah, no, he was a bad person.
Also, he didn't give a fuck about logistics. You conquered Winterfell with 30 men. Good point. How are you gonna fucking get food? It's winter is coming.
At that point, he was just bugging out, though. I feel he was just like so hurt by the events of the past like 8 months or however long it was. But that said, like, it was unbelievably dumb.
I'm sorry, one more point. Yeah, this is second. You're right. The second book is all about him fucking up. Like, he has his Iron Man killed for raping the saddle girl. but like when he can't sleep at night, he rapes his handmaid.
Yep. Yeah, he's just like a terrible human being.
Yeah. Ah man, but I'm still like Rick's gonna fuck him up. It's horrible.
Oh yeah, dude, it's so much more fucked up in the books.
Yeah.
And it was fucked up in the show. So like, it's really bad. You'll definitely feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane, bro. I want to tell you, but I just don't want to ruin anything.
No, I know about it. I haven't read it in years though, so it's kind of like a fresh reread. It's beautiful to reread it.
Oh, you read all the books?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. You're on your second run.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So like how he's like missing teeth and like he's missing these fingers and shit. It's like, fuck, bro. And then when they're outside Winterfell with Stannis, and Asha sees him again, and she's like, fuck. You know?
Man. Asha's that bitch. I love Asha.
Yeah, she's a great example of George writing like a pretty solid woman. Like she's my favorite.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite characters for sure.
He's good at writing tomboys.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. He's good at writing tomboys.
all proper ladies are dumb to him.
Yeah, I can't think of a single. I mean, there are Targaryen ladies who are like good and stuff, but like I can't think of anybody else right now.
Ooh.
So I think Queen Alysanne, Jaehaerys the first wife, she was pretty solid. I think Queen Rhaenys, Aegon the First's younger sister, she was really good. She made a lot of the laws and stuff, and she was just like a chill, not stupid lady.
Yes, she did the shit where she banned the first night in the north, right?
No, that's Alysanne.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I'm like, that's not a good thing to do. I'm not saying it's like something that needs to be in society.
Mm-hmm.
But in a world where the gods are real, you need to have snows. Like, that's a part of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
The part where they're forgetting is the older ways of sacrificing them.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the first night, because you know at the night fort, there's that like gate to the north that's like a werewood that's like a really old person's like mouth, and it like opens up.
Yeah, by spell and shit.
Yeah. So the idea I thought was that and I got this theory from Preston Jacobs, by the way. I didn't make this up.
Probably got it too. Yeah.
But like you like put the babies in the mouth, and then like the others would come and be like cool, and like that would be like how
Yeah, like that one is keep Crescent's keep or whatever.
yeah, Craster, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly that same vibe.
I don't need to go grab my vape. I'm sorry. There's a lot of pauses in this podcast.
It's all good, bro. We're chilling.
Gosh, God. Yeah, like it's wild to think that like the southern part of north of the wall, like fucking free folk territory, like it wouldn't just be weirdos who live down south, you know? Like if you think about it, Thetans have the most like complicated society. Don't they have like there's also a port town, right?
A port, Hardhome is a port. Yeah.
Like they have their own society up there and shit. And then like you have weirdos like Presser who just like fucks his daughters and shit, sacrifices his sons to the others.
Yep.
And like,
but like the wildlings don't even see Craster as one of them. That's what's funny, because his dad was a brother of the Night's Watch.
yeah,
And there's a theory that his dad is actually like Bloodraven,
really.
which would make him half a quarter Targaryen, obviously.
Okay.
And that would be cool.
That's why incest doesn't really affect him that much.
Sure, right. And yeah, I don't remember the specifics of the theory, but it made sense when I saw it.
That nigga Sam really is just like a simp. He only saw that girl once, and like he fucking he was just like, Jon Snow will handle this. Like, golly, dog, hold it down a little bit, man.
Yeah.
You're just there to fucking care for ravens, my nigga. Like, gosh, golly, dog.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like, everybody in that show, or books, I should say, who, like, sucks in a specific way, George does a really good job of, like, explaining why they suck. So like Cersei, even it's like okay, she like the connection between a daughter rather, and her father is like such a sacred thing, and her father is such a horrible person.
Yeah, didn't he say like, "Don't do it to me again, father," or some shit when he was trying to fucking marry her to Lancel? Or not,
Right. Yeah.
The fucking Lance of Flowers or whatever, Knight of Flowers.
Yeah. Loris.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She's like 40 years old. She's like, all right, marry this kid for like
This gay kid.
This kid who's gay, by the way.
Everybody knows it too. It's
Right.
not like it's a fucking. Also, isn't he the nigga who dressed up like Renly during the fight at King's Landing?
So no, that was his older brother Garland. Garland Tyrell.
Why isn't he the? Wouldn't he be? Where is he in the family tree?
Okay, so in the show, Loris is Marjorie's only brother. Now, in the books, he has an eldest brother named Willis, who's the heir to Highgarden, and then he has an older brother named Garland, who's like a nasty fighter who inherits a place called Brightwater Keep from the Florents after the Battle of the Blackwater, because they're dispossessed of it because they're Stannis' people, because Stannis' wife is a Florent, so they leave with Florent.
Why is his wife so big on R'hllor and shit?
Because Melisandre just approached her and got her into that shit.
Nah, like Stannis really is right though. Like I don't know, man. Like Stannis, why was Robert such a dick to him? Why Stannis held it down for him? Like, why the fuck wouldn't you make Stannis your hand?
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, Robert wasn't that good a person.
Yeah.
Like, even in like the main story where so Jaime attacks Ned in the streets, and Homeboy goes hunting. It's like, what the fuck? Who, like, this is your best friend. He's only here because you made him come here. You knew before asking him that he wouldn't want to. And then you asked him and he was like, yo, I kinda don't wanna. And you still made him come. And then he gets attacked by your brother-in-law in the streets and you're like, yeah, I gotta go hunting, bro. Bad person.
He's not. Why? You fucking. Gosh, Charlie. Why is my camera facing you?
Oh, facts. I didn't even notice.
Ah, shit. This podcast is wild, dog. Nah, but fucking. Yeah, dude. Stannis gets fucked a lot, dog. Because I'm like, he does have the proper claim. He should have gotten fucking. He should have gotten Storm's End. What is it? Storm's End.
Storm's End, yep.
Yeah, like, he is the next in line. And why is Renly, who, like, you're not gonna produce any heirs, dog? Like, let's be real. Like, why do you want this?
Well, the thing is, in Robert's defense, with respect to that, he needed to make sure that the person who ran Dragonstone was someone who was, like, a martial mind, who, like, wasn't, like, an idiot, who could, like, handle that fortress and, like, deal with, like, be, like, sort of like the guardian of the narrow sea in that sense. And then on top of that,
Are you saying Stannis is a good commander?
no, I'm saying he is.
Oh,
And that's why he was given Dragonstone instead of Storm's End.
oh, making their appearance to the seven kingdoms, right?
That too. But just like from a strategic sense, like just logistically, like where Dragonstone is, it's important that the person who's there is like someone who's really good at handling shit. Because it's like, it's sort of one of the last lines of defense from King's Landing if you're attacking from the narrow sea. And it's just like the sort of stronghold that should be held by like a really competent person. So like to place someone in control of that place shows that like you would at least trust them to a certain extent. But it's like, I don't know, you could have given him both or something. Like, and what else was I gonna say about that? Also,
Being
like,
a good person. Robert not being a good person.
right, but specifically with the Stannis thing, historically throughout like the Targaryen dynasty, like the person who was the Prince of Dragonstone was like the heir. So like So like when King Jaehaerys was the king, his son Aemon was like the Prince of Dragonstone, and then that's how you know, okay, he's that dude who's gonna like take over, like if I die. So like you could see it that way, and like one would wonder, it's like, okay, would Robert be thinking about like Targaryen tradition when like doing his shit? But you also have to remember his maternal grandmother was a Targaryen.
Yeah, and Baratheon was founded by a Targaryen.
That too. So, yeah, I feel like that in particular, like him giving a Dragonstone to Stannis, I don't take that as much of a slight as many people do. But you know, the banging a random chick in Stannis' bed on his wedding night.
That is
crazy.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
what does he do with Edric Storm?
What does Stannis do with Edric Storm? He sends him somewhere with this dude, Andro Estermont, I believe his name is. Maybe he sends him to Greenstone, which is the seat of House Estermont in the Stormlands, and House Estermont is Robert and Stannis' mother's house.
Okay.
I think that's where he sent him, but he either sends him there or to Essos.
Nah, like, he's not going to anything back. Niggas are just being mean to him.
Well, this is the other thing. Like, you have to remember, because like,
Yeah, he didn't destroy the set, which is fucked.
well, not only that, but like, it's easy for us to see from an outside perspective where it's like Stannis is funny, he's chill, but like in that world, he's like an asshole. Like, think about what he did to Davos. He was like, "Yo, thanks for like saving everyone, but I do have to like chop off your joints."
No, like, but he explained, I get it. I do. I totally get the whole thing where it's like, your good deeds don't outweigh your bad deeds. You did a good thing for me. You saved my people, saved my life potentially. Like, you were still a smuggler for 20 years. I will give you a lordship. Your sons will be lords. Eventually, you will be forgotten that you were a smuggler. The Onion Knight will fade to history, and your family will still stand. But fucking, like. Yeah, get it. I totally get it. You stole with one hand. It should be a reminder. It's a good teaching because he had a lifestyle as a smuggler. So he chopped off the hand that smuggled, but he made him a lord in turn.
Right.
So he wouldn't need to smuggle.
But let me ask you this question. If you were like in that world and like Davos was just like a person in the real world and like that happened, it would be like, damn, because I get it too, and that's like part of why I like Stannis. But like, I feel like if I was in that world, I'd be like, wow, that dude's kind of a dick for that. You know what I mean? And like,
Common people are just kind of dumb, though. Like, the common people are just kind of dumb.
but if I was a noble too, I'd be like, huh, that's kind of whack that you just did that. Like, and no one else would do that. You know?
People hate upstarts, but like, so is House Clegane. You know, like.
No, I don't mean like they hate that he like was an upstart. They just hate it's like, bro, you really like chopped this dude's hands off when like all of you would be finger joints, whatever, off when like he saved you. Like I respect the logic of it. It's what makes Stannis so like cool.
He's also would be better for the Seven Kingdoms, though, if you think about it. Like, Robert, not really Robert, it's Littlefinger, it's smuggling money, but, like, the kingdom's $3 million in debt. You know, like, we do need a hard king right now. We don't need a boy king, especially because the Long Night's happening, and they can't make the excuse that they don't know because they're already warned. Like, Stannis is the proper king.
I mean, but he's and this is what goes into everything we've discussed regarding Stannis, and this is why people don't like him. It's because he's just such a stubborn person. So if Stannis were to become king, it would be like, okay, all the faith of the Seven, all the old god shit has to go. Like it's all gonna be Lord of Light, and like how's that gonna manifest, right?
But that's their grandfather's conflicts. Like, there was already, like, religion wars and shit, but, like, House Targaryen settled that with the becoming of dragons and shit, you know?
Yeah,
like,
but this would be
militants with actual, like, the fake militant was only stopped by Maegor the Cruel. Also, Maegor the Cruel gets really bad rap.
I agree. He's probably the best king. He's one of them. I agree with that. But no, this would be a new one based off of the Lord of Light. Because Stannis is Stannis. You know how Stannis is. He's not going to allow anything but the Lord of Light, and so that's going to create a real serious war. And there's a theory that that's why not to because I have some other stuff to say about Stannis, but that's a theory. There's a theory that like Baelor was assassinated by his uncle Viserys II because Baelor wanted to make the Faith of the Seven mandatory in the Iron Islands in the north, which would have just created a horrible war. So Viserys II was like, damn, I gotta like poison this dude. But there's also a theory that Aegon IV, Viserys II's son, because the way the line worked, it was Baelor and then Viserys II, his uncle, and then Aegon IV, who's Viserys II's son, right?
Is Aegon IV Aegon the Unlikely?
No, that's Aegon V. Aegon IV is like the fat, like corrupt one.
Oh, who caused the Blackfires and shit, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he fucked his wife to death.
Yeah, Nerys. Who was also his sister.
Yeah.
Crazy shit. But so there's also a theory that Aegon IV, being such a horrible person, poisoned Baelor and then just poisoned his father, because Viserys II was only, even though he was the hand throughout Daeron, and I'm really all over the place right now, but even though he was the hand during Daeron the First's reign and Baelor's reign, he was only king in his own right for 2 years after Baelor died. So that makes people think, maybe Aegon IV poisoned him. And if Aegon IV poisoned him, maybe he poisoned Baelor as well, because we know that that's within his scope, because he's a horrible person.
Is he Aegon Dragonbane?
No, that's Aegon III, who's Rhaenyra's son.
Okay.
Because he hates dragons because of what may or may not happen in the House of the Dragon. And so that's why he's known as Dragonbane. But just doubling back to Stannis, unless you wanted to say anything.
No.
So like there's a conversation when Jon's Lord Commander and Stannis pulls up. Stannis and Jon are talking, and Jon's like, wow, this guy's pretty cool, like, I fuck with him. And then Stannis is just a dick, and, like, he starts talking shit about Robb, and he's just like, yo, word, maybe if your traitor brother didn't do, like, whatever, he'd still be alive. And then, like, there's literally a sentence in the text where it's just, like, any like that Jon had for Stannis, like, disappeared when he said that. And it's like, I feel like but like, see, for me, from the outside, I was reading that shit and I was like, it's mad funny that Stannis just said that shit. But like,
yeah,
he's out in the world,
like, he's autism adjacent, like, there's specific
yeah.
like, he's fucking, he likes rules and niggas don't follow them. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Technically, like, it's like that shit that the White Bull said to Jamie, where it's just like, your job is to serve the king, not judge the king. You know, respectfully, Jon Arryn died learning about the secret of the Lannisters. You know, fucking. So did fucking Ned Stark died learning the sisters the secret of the Lannisters. I would see why he would expect like Ned Stark to like send a raven or to something to the north or something, you know, but like Ned Stark's not that dude. He doesn't trust Caitlyn. She knows she's incompetent, you know? So like fucking like I get what he's doing, but it is fucking, they knelt with fucking the king who knelt, you know? Like, they are fucking, they're no longer the king, the winner. They had to make a fake crown, you know? Like, it's not even a good crown. It's a shitty crown. Fucking, what's her name? Fucking, what the fuck? All these names are so similar. Theon's sister talked about how the crown's shitty. Like, man, I don't. Dude, I love the theory that he wanted to make the fucking North and Iron Islands fucking believe in R'hllor. Like, that's...
Or, you mean, like, are you talking about Baelor? Yeah, how he wanted to bring the Faith of the Seven to them? Yeah, that shit was, I like that theory, too.
Like, it's, my favorite thing so far is just, like, the Alchemist Guild talking about, like, yeah, our old spells are starting to work again. Like, we were able to make more of the shit than we thought.
And the glass candles are burning. Yup.
Dude, it's that shit, man. But I was fucking watching one of those podcasts where they were talking about George is suffering from a syndrome where he has to document every sentence now, like every second in Marine or what is that shit? For Danny fucking being in Mastercore, where is she?
She's in Marine right now.
Yeah, she's the queen of Marine, right?
Yep.
God damn, I need to fucking finish this shit. Oh, my favorite thing about Game of Thrones is a nigga from Jersey is writing in an English accent.
Yeah.
Like,
I was literally thinking about this the other day. It would be cool if they had one region that just spoke like Bostonian English or some shit.
nah, like, I was thinking about that shit. It's like, why doesn't Taiwan have like a fucking Boston accent? You know, it's just like, where did you send Taisha, Dad? Where the horse go?
Yeah, where the horse fucking go, dude? Yeah, something like that. But like, I'd love to do that. Like, if I wrote like a fantasy story, I'd just have one region that literally just sounded like us, and like, because no one in the world would be like, oh, why'd they sound like that? It would just be like how those people sound. So I feel like, I feel like the audience would just like fuck with that as an idea,
Do you think like people from Dorne like shake their head when they talk? They do the bobble and shit. Like,
I don't know. Maybe, but Dorne, you bring up Dorne. Dorne's actually really cool because like Dorne's more diverse. The show really looked at Dorne, so
they really did, dog. They fucked with Dorne because they made it a monolith, Like Dorne also had the Danes, and like
Exactly.
the Danes are like from like the oldest empire,
Yeah. And they did the same thing with the Ironborn. The Ironborn are like they're not all just like dumb fucks. What I
No,
mean?
they are the freest people if you think about it. Like they don't even mind women being in power as long as they follow the Iron Way, the true to the way,
Well, I mean, they do have their certain sexisms, like what's his name? Roderick Harlaw, who's Asha and Theon's mother's brother. So Asha's mother has two siblings, Roderick and her youngest sister, who's Theon's mother, right? And his oldest sister, who's not Theon's mother. So it's oldest sister, Roderick Harlaw, Theon's mother, right?
Yeah.
And the oldest sister always resented Roderick because she was the oldest, but she didn't get what's the name of the 10 Towers, which is House Harlaw's fucking whatever, keep. And so there is certainly like sexism in the Iron Isles, and like that's why Asha is so cool, because she's such an anomaly. Like she's like, nah, fuck that. I have my own ship. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, she has fucking 30 ships, dog. She fucking took the fucking and then she was like, Theon didn't really think about like why his dad planned out why he did it, which is also his father's fault because like this is a new nigga. And yeah, he just like switched sides randomly, right? Like he was sent there to like call his dad ships to him, which is like a strategic error.
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah, it's fucking him growing up in a monolith. He's from the north, his mom's a fucking Riverlander, The Riverlanders seems like the fucking like it's like the Vietnam of fucking the Seven Kingdoms,
because they have no natural borders.
Rivers are really good. Like Riverrun's a bitch to fucking try to capture.
Well, yeah, but like to capture River Run is a bitch, but to enter the Riverlands compared to anywhere. So like the North, for example, has the Neck, which is like a swamp, and then like the Vale has the Mountains of the Moon, and
Dorne has like the sand Dornish and shit.
it has its own mountains, the Privet Pass and the Bone Way, and then it's just deserts. And even
the Westerlands
have hills, like loads of hills, and all those places also have at least the sea, right? But the Riverlands is just like, and that's why they get fucked up in every war. Like every war, they just get fucked up.
Dude. Yeah, nah, there was never a king of the Riverlands,
Oh no, there were river kings back in the day. There was one of my favorite houses in history was House Justman, which was and they ruled the Riverlands as kings for as long as the Targaryens ruled the Seven Kingdoms, low key, and they were made. So you know the whole Bracken Blackwood feud that's going on in House of the Dragon, right?
Yeah, that's all about old gods versus the Seven, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that has to be part of it. But House Justman was created by a knight of House Blackwood marrying a lady of House Bracken, and then they created House Justman. And then they ruled the Riverlands for like 300 years.
Oh shit. The fucking, I think fucking, what is that shit? Heron's Keep or what is it? Harrenhal?
Yep.
Yeah, that shit is gangsta as fuck. It's made out of the fucking werewoods and shit. Like, it would be dope. Like, whoever controls Harrenhal, like, they can totally refurbish. They would. There's no more dragons. He would rule. It's a better place for the kingdom than King's Landing, I think, in my head. Because you can use the rivers to navigate to the other kingdoms.
Sure.
And then it's unsiegable because it's so big that you have farmland inside.
Right. But the thing is, it's like, it's all like the cost of, because bro, that shit took like 3 generations to build.
Yeah.
So like the cost of refurbishing it would be like so great, because it's like a really, really big castle to the point where like there's this girl named Paya who was like born there, and like she lived there for like 15 years or so, and every other castle she's been to just like seems tiny because she grew up in Harrenhal, you know. Yeah. So what you're saying is correct, but it would just take so many resources, and it's also like cursed. No,
but like the Lannisters have it, or at least in the second book, they have Harrenhal. I know they lost it, but like they have the gold to fucking refurbish it. If Tywin would have refurbished Harrenhal, he would have been like at a better position.
Right. So I don't know for a fact, because it would have cost so much money. Like, they have the gold, but I don't know if they could, like, if they have that gold as spending money. And then on top of that, it would, I couldn't even imagine how long it would take to refurbish it. At least like a decade.
Also, do you think Rob was a good tactical leader?
No.
No?
I mean, first of all,
I'm sorry, before we go into this part, I love that the phrase emblem is 2 towers, because, like, it's all about crossing a river. So their house emblem is double crossing.
Oh, I didn't even fucking think about that ever. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, actually. There's so much little, like, lore and, like, clever shit baked into the story. But, what were you saying?
Rob's fucking tactical.
Yeah, so, first of all, marrying Jane Westerling was so stupid. Because it's like, bro, you literally, because you have to look at it from Walder Frey's perspective. It's just like, okay, if I didn't let you cross, you would have died, right? And your payment for doing that was like giving me a queen or making my daughter a queen. It's impossible for me to take back what I did for you in the same way you're taking back, you know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah. No, that's, like, I have the protagonist dilemma with him where I'm like, I get why he did it. His father is Ned Stark, who fathered a bastard while at war. He's trying to be his dad in a way.
Right.
You know, where, like, his dad made that same mistake in his head. So, like, how does he make this... And she's a highborn lady. How does he not dishonor her?
Right.
He has to marry her.
Right.
And, like, I can't remember, like, she fucking... Like, did she nurse him after battle?
Yeah.
Like, he's in a vulnerable spot, and he's a hormonal dude, you know?
Sure.
Like, I get it.
I get it. But as you said, it's really bad tactical stuff.
Yeah.
But I do get it. And then, so there's that, and then there's murder in Karstark, which was just like brain dead.
Oh, dude. Also, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm not at that part where he murders Karstark. Why does he murder Karstark?
Because Lord Karstark killed 2 child hostages. Yeah, what are their names? It's a Frey and a Lannister kid. It's Kevin's son.
Lannister's married.
Yeah, it's Kevin's son and Tyon Frey and Willem Lannister. That were their names. He kills them.
I low-key get it now because like the Lannisters are the only ones who actually agree with the marriages. You know, who actually follow through.
What do you mean?
Like every other High Lord breaks their marriage pacts with the Freys except the Lannisters.
Right, but
they have more Lannister blood in them than they do any other kingdom.
But low key, that's a great point. Well, I wouldn't say that because there's so much here, bro. So the phrase Walder Frey married like so many different women that like the Freys have connections all over, and each Frey faction like is like its own thing. So like there are the Craycall Freys, which is where like Little Walder, who's like actually big, the kid, like that's his.
Isn't he marked Big Walder?
No, so Big Walder, there's a theory that Big Walder murders Little Walder. I don't know why George made this so confusing. It's mad annoying to explain on a podcast. But Little Walder is younger, and that's why he's called Little Walder. But he's like a big kid. And then Big Walder is older, but he's like a small kid, right? And so Big Walder is a Blackwood. Like his, like he's one of the Blackwood Freys. And then Little Walder is one of the Craycall Freys, and there are all these different branches of Frey. And then the Lannister Freys, they exist because Titus Lannister, Tywin's father, married his daughter Jenna to Emmon Frey, who is Walder Frey's second son.
For Tywin hated his dad, but that nigga did secure him to win in the end. Then,
but see, this is the thing. That was actually it was a weak move for Titus to have done that because House Frey was like so below House Lannister.
That's so. I'm sorry. One more thing. Fucking Caitlyn's dad should have fucking murked Walder Frey because he's the late Walder Frey. He already showed that he's fake. You can't have a nigga like that in fucking Red Note, and he fucking has enough heirs where it wouldn't matter.
There's certainly an argument for that. Instead of just like talking shit about him and calling him the late Walder Frey, maybe like do something about it.
Yeah.
It's weird though. You don't want to just like upset the balance and do stuff like because that's like murdering Lord Karstark. You want to hold power firmly, but you don't want to like.
But everybody hates them. It's like when that one dude died, he was like, oh, better than he become afraid. Yeah. Saul Burn.
Yeah, and that was because that was because of the Red Wedding and Wyman Manderly being salty about that naturally.
Man, man. Like, if I could be born in a kingdom, I feel like I would want to be a knight, so I'd have to be south, you know?
Well, you could be south, of course, but there are knights in the north because
Bear Island and shit, and the Mormonts?
No, not even. I don't even. So the only reason Jorah is a knight is because he was knighted after the Siege of Pike because he was the second person through the breach after Jaime. So they were like, "We're be a knight." But there's White Harbor where the Manderleys are from. So the Manderleys are actually from the Reach. Their original seat, which is why they're Manderley, because there's a river in the Reach called the Mander, right? And so they were from. Their original seat was a place called Dunstonbury, and they were ousted from there by the Gardeners, who used to run the Reach, like
Stark Gardner and Garth the Gardener.
Exactly. And so they were ousted through the treachery of House Peak, who's like another house in the Reach, who becomes really prominent during the Blackfire rebellions. And then the Starks took them in and allowed them to build White Harbor in the north. And so so White Harbor is actually like a very southern city in the north. Like it has its own sept. They practice the faith of the Seven there, and there are like loads of knights in White Harbor. So you could live in White Harbor.
Dude, oh man, I wish we would get like a Rickard Stark fucking perspective chapter.
Like Ned's father?
No, fucking
Rickon,
yeah, fucking the littlest Stark. It's kind of like that. He seems like he's gonna be about it. Like he sounds like he's gonna be a great warrior. Like him and fucking and Shaggy Dog blowing up on niggas. That'd be dope. Anything in like Skagos and shit, being like learning the old ways.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what happens with him. I'm pretty sure he's going to be like part animal because he wasn't taught how to control his work shit at all. And he's also so young. He's like 4.
No, but he's also going to be going to Skagos. So that could be like going to school for him, you know? Because like they're more deep in the old ways.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And,
true.
like, Brand is already not the best warrior, just powerful, but he's broken so many rules. Like he works into Hodor multiple times. Like he fucking eats human flesh at one point. He fucking, I think he's gonna fuck somebody in Hodor. I don't know. Like that just sounds like something J.R. Martin would write.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I'm so excited to see what happens with all the wargs, because Bran's power as a warg is like, it doesn't just shit on any of his siblings, many of whom have like really strong warg powers.
Yeah, Nymeria is making a wolf gang and shit.
Right. It's also like he's way stronger than like any warg that's in the history of the story that I can think of. Because like warging the humans, like that shit is like mad hard, and he did it accidentally, you know. What are you thinking?
He's going into he's not going into like the hardest target though, you know.
Well, but that's the thing, dude. But like any human is hard. So that's like saying like, oh, I got into like the easiest major at Harvard. It's just like, yeah, that shit's hard as fuck though, you know. But yeah, this is why I want Wins to come out, bro. Because it's like, people just talk about this shit. They spend hours talking about it. And it's like, bro, can you drop the fucking book, please?
Yeah, nah, dude. That's why I don't think J.R. Martin is going to be considered a great writer. Like he's an amazing writer, but if you don't complete your book, your legacy's not complete. You know, like the writer for Dune, he did like 7 books before he passed away, and then like he had it damn near all there. Tolkien had a similarity on it, and like that's what all these niggas try to be. You know, like gosh golly.
Have you read Lord of the Rings?
Nah, I'm not that. I've read so many things that are like bad rip-off of it where it's just like I've seen it, you know.
But I haven't read it either, but I've been like meaning to forever. So from what I've been told, like Lord of the Rings is like the OG for a reason, you know. Like I hear that it's like better than all of them, and it has its roots in like Christianity, because like Tolkien was like, yo, this is like a Christian book, like written by a Christian. Like he wanted to make that clear and shit.
Yeah, he was boys with that nigga who made the book about the Colossus fantasy.
Fucking C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
Oh, word! I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I feel like Lord of the Rings is so poppin' like decades later because like it's so special. But like, I literally have The Hobbit. This shows you what a procrastinator I am, bro. I got The Hobbit for like a senior year class, in high school, and like we read it in class, but like very like cursorily, like we barely, like, you know, it was quick, it wasn't thorough, right? And so it's just like sitting there on my dresser, like the prologue to the Lord of the Rings, and I'm just like, I'll read it sometime, bro.
I'm just also like, it's just a story he meant for his son, which is beautiful, you know, like.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, like it's a child's book, like it's meant for children, and then like Lord of the Rings, those books are meant more for adults.
Right.
Yeah, The Hobbit in and of itself is just a beautiful story. Fucking, you a Dune nigga, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay, fair enough.
But I've only heard good things. Like, I've intended to read it at some point, but it's just like I'm not even reading The Hobbit yet, and it's right on my dresser.
When I was younger, I was really into Isaac Asimov. You know who that is?
I've heard the name, but
he wrote. If I'm not fucked up, he wrote like I Robot and shit.
okay.
Yeah, but what I fuck with him up with is fucking the Foundation series.
Okay.
It's a series where like humanity is at its peak, and they made this whole science that would track humanity's progress. And the science has predicted that like humanity is going to go through the dark age. So this is going to happen. How can you minimize this? So he creates the Foundation. The Foundation is a stockhold of all of humanity's knowledge, and like the keepers of the Foundation will shorten the dark age from 1,000 years to like 300 years, and like. They have a measurement of like humanity, like the equations are down so much that like every like 150 years or whatever, like they'll get a message, and the message would be like, all right, you guys are probably having a crisis right now. This is how you can resolve it. But like as time continues, the formulas get more and more off. It's a really dope concept. Like I fuck with science fiction heavy.
Yeah, and I do too, and like A Song of Ice and Fire is really like science fiction more than it's fantasy.
Dude, my main problem with sci-fi is they have really grand ideas but really unlikable characters. Like Game of Thrones is great because the characters are so fucking dope.
Right.
It's a hard fucking rule set, you know? Like, damn, man.
So did the Foundation not have like compelling characters too much, or?
Yeah, like they were kind of like they're fake these good guys. They just like monologue at you about what they're feeling, you know?
Sure, I feel you.
I got really into fucking spec history too, and I read this
What's that?
like speculative history. Like,
Oh, okay.
what if like different shit happened. The most famous is Man in the High Tower. Like, what if Germany won World War II? But like, I was reading one called A Different Flesh, which is about what if like Anthropithecus, fucking, what if they evolved in the Americas? Like, what if they stayed around? You know, the Americans. And like, damn man, if Neanderthals lived with us, do you think you would treat them bad?
I mean, it's hard to say, probably, if everyone else was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, cause like in the book they had like they still imported slaves from Africa, and it was just like in the world where there's like a whole different type of human, black people are still getting enslaved.
Yeah.
Why am I in the field with them, dog? It's yeah, dog. Fuck with back history.
There's this book series I used to read when I was a kid called Pendragon. So, pretty complicated, but the idea is that like there are 10 territories in the universe, and like 3 of them are based in Earth, but like different times in Earth. So there's like first Earth, second Earth, third Earth, and there's like a traveler from each territory that like travels between the territories to like do good shit basically. And so first Earth is in 1937, second Earth is in 2010, and which is when the book came out, and third Earth is in like 5020.
Are they like in static histories, or do they actually progress?
They progress, but that's like a little bit of a hole because it's like first Earth should just become second Earth then eventually, right? So and the main character is the traveler from second Earth. He's like this 14-year-old kid, right? And so
It's YA.
What's that?
Young adult.
Yeah. And so the third book is about them trying to like save First Earth, and like basically like eventually like so they're just hanging around First Earth trying to like do shit with like the Hindenburg and like Nazi Germany shit going down, and like so they go to third Earth to hit up like New York Public Library in the future and like get all this like epic information about like spec history, right? So they're just like, okay, like what happens if like the Hindenburg like doesn't fucking blow up? And it's basically like it's showing like the Germans like nuking New York and London and all this shit, and then they go back in time and they realize like, yo, we have to blow up the Hindenburg, bro. And that's what ends up happening. So I think you'd like that book.
There's a darker version of that book where it's just like we have to get them inside of the chambers, dog. Like they have to go inside of the tanks, man. This has to happen.
Yeah. That's great.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's so you must read a lot then if you're using terms like spec history and YA and
I mean,
like that.
I fuck with. I try to be an author at times, but I've never completed a manuscript. I write a lot of like spec films and shit, but like I don't. I tried directing this thing I wrote before, but while I was behind the camera, I just realized I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I'd rather write a story than shoot one,
I feel you. I mean, maybe you could do like short stories.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Like the comic book I'm writing is I think I've just been smelling J.R.R. Martin's sparks too much, like I've been like I wrote like the not spec history, like this magical setting set like in like the Dawn Age. It was like Game of Thrones, where it's just like it's just like
that'd be cool.
Yeah, like early humans fucking trying to adapt into like civilization. Like the first short story I have is like So I heard the story of fucking Tolkien. That nigga, he wrote a language for like the elves and the dwarfs before he actually started developing the character. And I'm like,
That's so crazy.
yeah, man. So I started doing that, but I'm using ChatGPT, and I'm just like, I'm such a fraud. Like, no artist before me has ever done this. What great author has ever done this? What a fucking fake.
Well, I will say, I mean, yeah, you got to start small, right? Like even George R. R. Martin, like he has a bunch of short stories, like so many, like that was his main thing, like Wild Cards. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I've never read any of his. All of his fucking other stories outside of the Game of Thrones always has like all the covers look like they belong in like supermarkets. You know, like they. It's not appealing. He looks like kind of Tom Clancy-esque, not like in the imagery, but like in the mass appeal.
Yeah, okay. I feel you. So I haven't read any of them yet, but like Preston Jacobs, who we've spoken about, the Game of Thrones YouTuber, he's like he's read like most of them, and I think that's why he has such a good insight into like A Song of Ice and Fire, because he's seen this shit. He has such a good understanding of George R. R. Martin's writing in general. But all this to say, like, and it's called like the Thousand Worlds Club, like the people who like fuck with like George's short stories. So like the Thousand Worlds Club books walked so that A Song of Ice and Fire could run, you know. And I'm sure like that you might be in the same situation where you should probably like write like some short stories and shit, get the vibe for like how you write, how you create overall stories, and then you can make like some huge epic shit.
I'm also like, I was a tattoo artist for the last 2 years. I've always drawn, but like, I went back to EMT and now I haven't drawn in 4 months, going on 5 months. So I'm like, if I can make this a comic book, it will keep me consistent on my art, you know? And like, I don't know, man. I also love the idea of being a tattoo artist. Just like, if you're a part of a band, like an early civilization, like all those people, like those niggas in Papua New Guinea and shit, they always have tattoos. You know, so it'd be cool to design like individual tribes tattoos and shit. And like, just because like they're in an arid region, I'm like, it would be dope if they had like, wood would be scarce because they only have a couple natural reserves, you know. So like, the trees would be sacred. What if they just kept a tree like a wooden shield that just passed down from generation to generation?
You know what you could do, bro? And this is just me spitballing, but like you could maybe what time is it? My bad.
No, it's all good. We've been doing this for a minute. Like an hour 50.
Hell yeah, fire. But like you could make a short story for maybe how each city state is built.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then when you're doing that, like you're learning more about this world that you yourself have created. And then that'll inform how each of these city-state connects, how the entire world functions.
No, that's kind of what happened. Like, I originally had the idea of a story about this dude exiled from his homeland. So, like, the idea of the homeland is like, all right, all these, like, ancient civilizations, like, have you ever heard that, like, Australians, how their oral history, like, goes back, like, 40,000 years and shit?
No.
Oh, well, they have stories that talk about, like, ancient animals that only existed, like, that we know about through fossils. There's, like, tribes in the northwest of the United States who talk about a meteor happening and creating a lake, which was later proven. So I'm like, what would it be like during, like 13 generations after something like that happened, like after a major earthquake caused the river to form into a lake? You know, like what would the civilization that emerge around that look like? So I'm like, what about a traveler who traveled down the dead river, just seeing like all the civilizations that died before it? And then, like, what would he see? And, like, what is the great, like, after a fucking grassland is normally a desert. So, like, what would a desert look like? And then I had the idea that, like, the Sahara Desert was green at some point, like, 40,000 years ago. What would it be like if the Earth just started dying all around? And, like, all the civilization that emerged around that. So I got to a point of, like, all right, what would this people in this specific plateau that this story revolves around do? And then I started writing a story about a girl from that channel.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I'm just, like, I'm thinking of doing it, like, every comic book chapter would be like 2 to 5 years in the future. So it's just like mini stories about this one girl as I practice like learning my art and shit.
Yeah, no, that would be great, dude. I I hope to hear more about that shit. And
I just need to write it, dog.
yeah, I know. It's just, but dude, like this sounds like cliche or whatever, but like, dude, you just like 20 minutes a day, just sit down, write, just draw, just writing letters, and then eventually, like, you know, because I'm no stranger to writer's block, obviously.
Yeah. Do you know about the story, the series on writing?
Mm-hmm.
It's like authors and editors, they do it's their critique and their analyzations of writing as a professional writer. Like, Stephen Hawking's On Writing is an amazing book. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
At one point, he talked about, like, every day, no matter what, he writes 2,000 words a day as soon as he wakes up. It's the first thing he does, he gets it out of the way, and then, like, by doing that, every month and a half, he'll have a manuscript.
Right. Yo, that reminds me of something. I don't watch that much Bill Maher, but I just happened to be watching it at my boy's house like last year, and he had this playwright named David Mamet on. And,
Oh, yeah, I know David Mamet.
Oh, fuck, yeah, facts. So he was talking about, like, writer's block, and he just, like, dismissed the idea of writer's block, and he was like, oh, if I had that, I wouldn't really have a job.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, facts, like, bro, like, this is literally, like, our job, and, like, I have to, like, treat it like that, and just, like, show up every fucking day, and, like, that's how we create, like, real greatness, bro.
No, Stephen, are you familiar with Stephen Prescott?
No.
Yeah, he has a really good book where he just breaks down.
Wait, is that the War of Art guy?
Yes.
Yeah, I've read that book.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of art history gets broken down to be like, oh, it's all about freedom and having a free spirit, but you also do need discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Like, niggas like Picasso or fucking, who's that nigga who died in the 70s? I think it's Picasso, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, he was the master at the age of 20. You know, like, before he became totally free, he did have structure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, it's the old adage of to be able to break the rules, you have to know the rules.
Mm-hmm. And, like, that's one of the, as artists, like, so many of us are, like, not naturally orderly people, and, like, that's low-key so essential for the creation of art, as you just said, that it's like that's the rub, is like realizing that, finding out how to create order in your craft, being disciplined enough to implement it, and then when you're ready to, like, transitioning into just like absolute artistry where you're just like firing off on all cylinders and creating these beautiful landscapes and dynasties and city-states and all this shit, you know?
Yeah. Dude, well, it was amazing talking with you. You want to shout out yourself real quick?
Yeah, fucking my Instagram is Shot of Ranch. Fucking, I'm a comic. Sometimes I am booked by the Tiny Cupboard in Brooklyn, and I host an open mic there if you're fucking in Bushwick or the city on Fridays at 8:30, bro.